Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about understanding the Dungeons & Dragons Warlock class through Taylor Swift's career. Alright, so I actually think that the Dungeons & Dragons Warlock class is a very misunderstood class, and I struggle to understand it. One of the reasons why is I don't think it's very well explained within Dungeons & Dragons, and I don't actually think it's very well represented within Dungeons & Dragons. It's a very strange class. Let's talk about it, okay? So it is a caster class, right? So they cast spells exactly like wizards, exactly like sorcerers, and somewhat like divine casters. Somewhat like clerics. Clerics are divine casters. They cast spells as well, but in a very different way than wizards and sorcerers. But warlocks are really unusual. Warlocks get the power to cast spells specifically from a nether creature. Now, I know Dungeons & Dragons... Now, first of all, just to be clear, both the Warlock is super cool, and it's one of the most played classes in Dungeons & Dragons. This has been a thing for a few years now. People absolutely love the Warlock class for a whole lot of reasons. I think it's a really strong build, and even beyond that, it's just really kind of super dope from a narrative perspective, okay? What is it from a narrative perspective? The way it's presented in Dungeons & Dragons is you are a caster. You have the ability to cast spells, but because you've made a pact with a nether creature, okay? Now, Dungeons & Dragons throws in two really weird things also. They're like, well, your power could also come from some kind of fey source, or it can come from some kind of the constellations themselves, like the stars, right? Very, very nebulous, and they're only thrown in there because they're and here's why. They're like, maybe we don't say you're getting all your powers from a demon. They want to give people an out who want to play Warlock and not be like, oh yeah, I'm sacrificing sheep to get this blood. It's dark. It's one of the darkest It's one of the darkest classes in all of Dungeons & Dragons, right? Now, one of the things that's interesting is once you put that Warlock class on your character sheet and you start casting spells, there is very little mechanics in the game to give you any sense that you made this dark pact with a nether creature, right? I'm just going to throw out that whole Fae thing and the constellations and the old ones and all that nonsense. The nether creature is the one that matters, and that's what people key on when they're thinking about warlocks. They're talking about abyssal powers, right? You have celestial powers and you have abyssal powers. You have infernal powers, nether creatures. That's where this power is coming from. You wanted to cast spells, and so you made a pact, like you sold your soul, or you made a promise, or you made a dark pact with a nether creature, with an infernal creature, with an abyssal creature, and then you got something for it. That creature used their powers, their very real abyssal powers, their very real infernal powers, to clear the way for you and make sure that you could do the magic you wanted to do. That's the Warlock, okay? All right, so, and in Dungeons & Dragons, this is very hand-wavy, right? You get your spells. There's a couple words about Dark Pact on your sheet, but none of it's lived out. None of it's really seen in play. It's not really there, okay? So I've really found the entire Warlock class very abstract and very hard to understand. But recently there's been an incredibly good example of exactly what a Warlock looks like in real life. What making a Dark Pact looks like and where you end up on the other end of it, right? And that, in my opinion, this is all clearly my opinion, is where Taylor Swift has ended up. I think Taylor Swift's career looks like a high-powered Dungeons & Dragons Warlock, able to cast super cool, awesome spells. A Warlock, a high-level D&D Warlock is super dope, right? Able to do anything they want to do, able to sling that good stuff, that strong juju magic. It's the powerful stuff, right? It's just really out there, strong voodoo, real deal magic, right? Like slinging hard hitting, drop you on a dime type of magic, right? That is a Warlock. Now, where are we at with Taylor Swift's career? Oh yeah, like she is like the most recognized. I think at this point she's the most recognized singer, pop star on the planet, without a doubt. She has surpassed everybody. I don't think there's any, like, if you say who's the most most successful pop star on the planet, I think it's Taylor Swift. I think she's really outpaced everybody else. Drake's in the mix. Post Malone, he's too new. He just don't have a career like Taylor Swift. Drake's done well for himself, but I really think Taylor Swift has surpassed her. Beyonce is like on kind of toward the end of her career. Lemonade wasn't that great. Billie Eilish is coming up, but she ain't Taylor Swift yet. And so this is where we're at. Taylor Swift is the it person right now, right? And so she's got that Warlock power. She has got the real deal magic. When she drops an album, everybody watches it. When she drops a single, everybody listens to it. When she drops a video, everybody watches it. Hundreds of millions of views. Real scale, real influence, real power, right? This is a high-level Warlock you're looking at within the sphere of pop music, okay? All right. Now, I am saying she's pop music. I'm not being dismissive. I'm a huge fan of Taylor Swift. I'm not being dismissive in any way. Pop music is a genre that I respect. I like pop music a lot. I'm not saying that to be dismissive. She is a pop music singer, and it's just a genre. I'm not saying that dismissively. All right. So, all right. Now, where's the dark pack come in, right? Well, here we go. Let's get into this. This is really fascinating, and I want to talk about this because I think Dungeons & Dragons Warlock is a really strong analogy of understanding, like, basically, you could finally start to really understand what an actual Warlock would actually look like in the Dungeons & Dragons world by looking at Taylor Swift's career and looking at the end game, right? Because that's the part you almost never see in Dungeons & Dragons. First of all, long-running campaigns are dead. They never exist today in modern play. People tell you they do, they don't, right? Like, trust me, there are no long-running campaigns any day anymore. Back in the day, in the 80s and the 90s, but now with video games and super good music and super good video movies, there aren't 3, 4, 5 year campaigns. It just doesn't happen anymore. All right, so you have, all right, so where do you end? So basically, D&D players almost never see the end game for a Warlock. But when you look at Taylor Swift's career, this is, I think, what it would look like for a D&D Warlock, okay? Now, how does that work? Okay, so one, where we're at right now with Taylor Swift's career, she just made a song called The Man. It's really good. Check out the video. It's excellent. And it really kind of shows some of her frustration, and she's been very public lately about being frustrated by the person who is her current producer. Now, I'm going to use that term producer. He could be a record mogul, or he could be like a record producer. Producer is, I'm saying, the person who makes the music, person behind, who owns the catalog and owns the entertainment presence. So at this point, Taylor Swift has a new person who owns her entertainment presence and owns her catalog of music, and she is very unhappy with the person who is there. And this person is a beast mode producer, right? This person has made massive hits with other massive stars, but this person is by and large known as super non-woke. Super non-woke. Taylor Swift is super woke. Now get this. You would think that her last producer was woke, but it turns out her last producer was super non-woke too, because her last producer handed her over to this super non-woke producer. So, and there's a good chance the producer before that was pretty non-woke too. Now the reason why, and so Taylor Swift is now frustrated that her catalog and her entertainment presence is owned by, guess what? An abyssal power. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody she's not happy to be serving, right? So just like a Warlock is like, yeah, I like all the power, I like the spells, I don't like this relationship, this ain't cool, right? So that's the issue, in my opinion. Now, I think there's significant accusations against this person, but and that's off to the side, right? I'm not saying it's off to, it kind of is. Like, all right, here's the issue. Taylor Swift is a pop star. She's been made into a global brand, okay? And now, at this point, she's frustrated, and many of her fans are frustrated, that she doesn't own her entertainment presence and that she doesn't own her own catalog, right? Now, a simple look of this would be like, oh yeah, she's a great, she's a great singer, great songwriter, great dancer. She should own her entire catalog. And I'm like, wait, slow down. Let's see if that's correct, right? Because here's the issue. A lot of people are good singers, good songwriters, good dancers, and actually, I don't even think, okay, we'll keep going here. All right, so, but the reality is, these beast mode producers that have been connected to her, they cleared the path, right? In a lot of ways. It wasn't just Taylor. When she went and she booked huge, like 100,000 seat arenas, that takes some doing. Yeah. And in order to get that done, when you get booked on Jimmy Kimmel, when you get booked on James Corden, when you get booked on Jimmy Fallon, when you get booked on Stephen Colbert, when you get booked on Conan, when you get booked on virtually every, when you become a global brand, there is some blood, sweat, and tears, right? And they didn't all come from Taylor Swift. A lot of that came from those beast mode producers, those very non-woke producers, who Taylor is frustrated that they're like, these non-woke producers, they don't really understand words like work-life balance. They don't really understand. They're not really, 9 chances out of 10. There's a whole line of very woke concerns that Taylor Swift legitimately has that she wants these non-woke producers to deliver. But the problem is, she's sitting on top of a mountain that their super non-woke behavior got her to. That is a problem. That is a problem. And you see, and that's the issue. I think that's the part that is a little challenging for me to fully sign off on. Taylor Swift should own her entire entertainment presence, and Taylor Swift should own her entire catalog, right? And the reason why is, I know for a fact there are singers, songwriters, dancers who are trying to do exactly the same thing with woke producers. And one thing that people are finding out is there are no woke beast mode producers. There are a few very powerful, very productive, very successful, non-woke beast mode producers. I have not heard or seen of a woke beast mode producer anywhere on the planet. And I think the world is looking right now to say, is that a thing, right? Can you be sensitive and kind and loving and generous and still build a global brand? And that's a hard question to answer, because the reality is, if you're trying to do it and you're trying to do it in a woke way, there's going to be a lot of producers who are very non-woke, and you might get shoved out of the way by them, right? And at this point, because there is no example of a woke beast mode producer who can create a global scale star, the likes of Taylor Swift, that's where her career, in my opinion, is the best of example of what an endgame Dungeons & Dragons Warlock's life really looks like. They have all the power, they have all the talent, they have the role of respect, but they're very itchy about that relationship with that abyssal power that got them there, right? And I honestly, I've never really fully understood the D&D Warlock class, but I really think if you look at Taylor Swift's career right now, you're looking at it. That is a Warlock pact. I mean, that is very, very significant, right? And I'm a huge fan of Taylor Swift. I think it would be nice if she could own her entertainment presence and her entire catalog, but I really understand why she doesn't. And the reason why is, if you could get to the top of the mountain with a woke beast mode producer, a ton of people would have done it. Like, that's the issue, right? Like, there's a lot of people who want to be where she is, and there's a ton of people with talent, right? But the reality is, if that's one of the issues. We're still living in a world where non-woke beast mode producers can push you to the top of the hill, right? And we don't know yet whether there's a woke beast mode producer on the planet that can do that, right? And so at this point, if you really want to see what an endgame Warlock, D&D Warlock looks like, what life for them looks like, you're looking at it. It's Taylor Swift. She has the power. She has the real spells. She has, she has the respect, and she can do everything she wants to do, right? But again, she's extremely, extremely uncomfortable with that relationship with the abyssal power that now connects to her entertainment presence and her catalog. Very, very challenging to understand, right? Now, this is a sensitive subject. I fully understand that. I think this is, I think I was fair to Taylor. But if I'm not, if there's any part of this that I'm not understanding correctly, please correct me in the comments below. I'm more than willing to understand and learn. And I'm also very hopeful that we can find a path to the woke beast mode producer, but I'm not sure we can. In fact, I'm almost certain we can. And the reason why is, if you could do it that way, the scale is a problem. If nice people can get to the top, there'll be 100 of them. There'll be 1,000 of them. And so then, how do you determine which nice person gets to get the gold, the pile of gold, right? I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. This is one time where I would like to be wrong, right? About how the world works. I hope that it is possible for there to be a woke beast mode producer. I never seen one. If you know that there is an example of one, please point me to one in the comments below. And also, if you think there is a path to producing a beast mode woke producer, let me know. Also, if you have played if you've actually played a D&D game within the last 5th edition, I don't want to hear any of the nonsense from 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st edition. Yeah, I get it. You played in the 80s, 90s, whatever, right? Or even in the 2000s, right? Has anybody played a high level 18th, 19th, 20th level Warlock in 5th edition? Let me know what that experience is like. I'd love to know. Please let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.